Hello, I'm Michael Wunsch. I'm the plant pathologist at the North Dakota State University Carrington Research Extension Center. I'd like to share with you what we have learned about the relative efficacy of different fungicides for management of white mold and dry beans. This is an abbreviated summary. If you are interested in precise results from individual studies, I would recommend that you reference the corresponding PDF document with full data tables for every single research study. This testing was conducted with pinto beans in most studies, kidney beans in some studies. Row spacing was narrow, so 14-inch row spacing. Seeding rate was either 80,000 or 90,000 viable seeds an acre, depending on the study. Fungicide spray volume was 15 gallons an acre. These were applications made with a handheld boom pressurized by carbon dioxide. Fungicide droplet size was fine or medium in studies conducted from 2010 to 2021, and then calibrated relative to canopy characteristics from 2022 to 2024. We did all testing with 2 sequential fungicide applications, with that first application timing at early bloom and initial pin pod, and the second application between 7 and 14 days later, depending on the study. We conducted the testing generally with 5 or 6 experimental replicates. That's the number of times the treatments are tested in a randomized pattern across the footprint of the study. We assessed white mold at or near dry bean maturity by evaluating every plant individually for the percent of the plant impacted by white mold. We harvested by clipping the plants at the base, windrowing them, and passing the dried down windrowed plants through the combine. And we did it that way, which essentially simulates knifing, rather than straight harvesting, in order to make sure that there was no noise in our yield data caused by differences in standability of the dry beans across the footprint of the study. We applied supplemental irrigation as needed to facilitate white mold disease pressure. Before I transition into the results, I want to emphasize that all of the testing presented was conducted with 2 sequential fungicide applications of the same product, with a goal of rigorously assessing comparative efficacy. When you apply the same product twice, you compound any differences in efficacy, and you get a better ability to differentiate different products and different application rates. Okay, these comparative efficacy testing results are provided with the goal of helping facilitate informed decision for selecting products, not only for 2 sequential applications, but for application once as well, whether alone or in rotation with another fungicide. The relative difference between products should be consistent, irrespective of whether testing was done with 1 application or 2. It's just easier to make the differences, to differentiate these products when you apply twice sequentially, because again, it compounds the differences. That said, let's compare Endura versus APROACH. Again, these are averages across all the studies tested. If you want results from individual studies, you should reference the corresponding PDF that has detailed fungicide testing, efficacy testing results. Okay, Endura applied at 8 ounces versus APROACH at 12 fluid ounces. You can see the Endura performed better. Endura 8 ounces versus MIRAVIS Neo at 13.7 fluid ounces. You can see the Endura performed better. MIRAVIS Neo at 13.7 fluid ounces versus Propulse at 10.3 fluid ounces, or Endura at 8. You can see that the Propulse and Endura performed better than the MIRAVIS Neo. Endura at 8 ounces applied twice versus Endura followed by PRIAXOR at 4 fluid ounces. Well, here we do not have statistical separation between the fungicide treatments, but you can see a very clear trend, and the very clear trend indicates that the Endura applied twice was more effective than Endura followed by PRIAXOR. In conclusion, I think it is very clear that APROACH, MIRAVIS Neo, and PRIAXOR were less effective against white mold and dry beans than the competitive standards to which they were compared, either 8 ounces of Endura or Propulse at 10.3 fluid ounces. In closing, I'd like to thank the staff in Carrington who contributed to this research: Aaron Faust, Ron Collis, Jesse Haffer, and Gabby Henson, who work with me now, as well as Thomas Miorini, Billy Kraft and Michael Schaefer, who worked with me earlier. I'd also like to thank the staff in Langdon who contributed to this research. Scott Halley, who's now retired, and Amanda Ahrens, who continues working in Langdon. I'd also like to give my sincere thanks to the North Harvest Bean Growers Association, the North Dakota Crop Protection Product Harmonization Registration Board, and the private companies who funded this research. I'd also like to give sincere thanks to Bollingburg Seeds, Green Valley Bean Company, and Kelly Bean Company in Hatton, who have donated the seed year after year for use in our white mold management studies in dry edible beans. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope this information helps you improve your operations.